Yeah. What's up, people? What's up? Ruben White, what's going on, man? My EC Journey. Ash, EUC, what's up, guys? It's your man, Black Cobra, back once again with the Wheel Life Show. So today we are going to talk all things EUC as usual, and we're going to focus on A.V.S. and all the fun that we had while we were out there. Today is going to be a great day as usual. I'm joined by others in this wonderful world of EUC and PEVs. And today I'm joined by my other two co-hosts from the Amped Electric Games team, Seth Johnson and E-Rider A. Let's bring them in right now. Yeah.
How's it going?
What's up, fellas?
Let's go.
Hey, good to see you, Cobra. Good to see you, Seth.
Yeah, man. Look at those jerseys look crispy.
Fresh from
Amp,
this
baby, the voice of electric sports. So I want to say what's up to those guys that are in the chat already. Like I said, Ruben's here, Euro is here, my EUC journey, Ash is here, Jumpy Jiggle Snort. I always laugh when I say his name. Spartacus is here. Toronto E-Riders. Uh-oh, Brett. Oh, look at that. See, I see it in there. EUC Vibes. What's up, Tommy? Good to see you, brother. Yeah. Senior E moment. Okay, that could be me. Senior E moment. Yep. But Fresh Bones is in the house. Devo. What's up, Devo? We were talking about you recently. And thank you for all your support, man. You're always here. We appreciate that. Shira Kit Kat, what's up, Shira? How you doing? And Eastgate Windsor, people are popping in left, right, and center. But I want to say what's up to my co-host, Seth. Are you still here in the country? Let them know.
I am actually here at my house. I call it the dungeon or the lab. I've had my head down and been editing A.V.S. footage for the past week or so. I think we got 10 races that are going to be coming out. I believe there's 4 full-length interviews that we did. So a ton of content going to be coming out very soon on the Amped Electric Games channel. And you guys did an awesome job hosting. I can't thank you enough. Made my job easy as far as the editing goes. So really appreciate you making the trip out and joining Amped and getting it going.
Yes, if you guys don't know, we introduced Brett. Brett is our newest co-host, E-Rider A from, well, I almost said it. We're not gonna say it. We're gonna say he's from Canada. We'll say that. We'll say that much, and we'll tell you that he has joined us, and Brett has done a great job giving us and adding to our team, adding his expertise in Eastgate and EUC, and we appreciate him with his energy and enthusiasm. He fit right in with me and Seth, I think, and I think you guys will agree in the chat. So thank you for coming aboard, brother. What was that, Brett? I missed it.
Sorry, I got a little time to get to know you guys a little bit. So then coming into co-host with you guys was kind of nice. It was good.
Perfect timing.
I want to mention, Cobra, that Brett has been an Amped Electric Games aficionado since day one. Yeah. So he's been to each Amped Electric Games, and then I think it was just natural after his race coordination that he did last year, Amped. It was just a natural kind of progression to bring him in to the fold. So we're really happy to have Brett and his expertise in E-skates as well as EUCs and all things PEV.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. And the team is just growing. You guys know that we try to do a lot of things together. We all do our own things, but we come together and do things together. And we're going to talk about that because I got some comments at A.V.S. that I was really proud of about that. But before I go any further, I want to say shouts out to Liv for EUC. What's up in the chat?
Our new camera lady.
That's right. She was killing it at A.V.S. on her camera work. And if you don't know, now you know. If you check out some of the videos, you'll see some of the camera work from the Crow's Nest. She was spot on. And I would be remiss if I didn't say what's up to Big Boy, Fast Boy, Nick, my man. Yes.
Maestro.
Yo, he is. Nick's the maestro behind the scenes. you guys don't see all that Nick does to put all this together. It's a dance of craziness. He is truly, maestro's a good word because it just came to mind. Dun 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 dun.
Like Fantasia with all the teacups and everything going in the air.
And you can see him doing that because he's that guy. He's behind the scenes all over the place. And one of the memories I have to put out there for Big Boy is that we were doing things, and sometimes we get, we're doing this, we're doing that. Oh, the feed went down, or the feed froze, and he's doing this, doing that, and he'll stop for a second. He's like, "All right, guys, doing good." he'll give us a thumbs up and a smile in the middle of everything, just to make sure that we know, to give us that energy check. And I appreciate him for that. He's always Johnny on the spot and doing his thing. So I really appreciate him. Okay.
He's really a professional. We gotta shout that out because he's one of the few people who's taken his professional side and given it to this whole PEV scene. So it's unfolding in front of you in the form of Amped. It's awesome what Nick's doing.
Yeah, thank you.
He needs more credit.
Yeah, he does. That's why we always try to shout Nick out because he's always pushing.
Yeah.
Oh, Liv said to turn you guys up. I did, Liv. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Remember, Brett, what did I tell you? When I said when I start the stream, I try to ask, how do we sound? And I forgot already. So Liv told me to turn you guys up, and I did. It's one thing because on my end, it sounds really, really good. And then I'm like, okay, well, how does it sound to everyone else? So hopefully that evened it out pretty much. I turned me down a little bit and you up a little bit. So thanks, Liv. Appreciate you. That's Mama Liv over there. Yeah. So this is a team effort, and you guys are killing it, like the entire team. And one thing I wanted to say, and I got to keep reminding myself not to go overboard, telling too much information, because later on we're going to ask you guys some questions about the team and give out some prizes. So, but right now, what are those prizes? I can't tell you yet. But right now, I want to tell you that we come from all over and we come together. And we come together when it's time to put these events on and broadcast these events. And one of the things that people don't realize is that we don't live near each other. That's one of the things that Mo Biggs, the coordinator of A.V.S., he was surprised at. He asked me, he said, "Where are you guys based out of?" And I started telling him. He goes, no, I mean, where's the team based out of? And I said, all over. And he said, what? You guys come together with all this equipment and you guys put all this up and put this broadcast out and then you tear it down and go back your separate ways? I'm like, exactly.
Yeah. What a lot of people also don't realize is how much goes into the shows in preparation for the show as well. We're working, a month, maybe 2 months sometimes ahead of time, getting all of the buttons programmed and the assets designed. I got to give a shout out to Chris Nelson, the Floducer, for being out there, being behind the mixing board. He does a lot of the custom programming. I know this time we bought a new mixer and Nick had to program all of the different levels in the mixer. And there's a lot that goes into these shows that people probably don't realize. I didn't realize until I got into it. But it's a ton of work, it's a lot of work. It's a labor of love. We are largely an unpaid group of people that have very little sponsorship. And so we're just trying to make something happen from nothing. And, they say, be the change in the world that you want to see.
That's right.
So that's really what we're all kind of embodying.
Yeah, truly.
And I don't think that you guys, if you didn't quite really grasp what he's saying, it's really important that you guys know that it's real. I guess some people were thinking that, that we're doing this and we're making all kinds of money doing this. That's not the case. And I want you guys to understand that we're doing this out of love, and we're trying to get to a level where we can charge so that we can cover all that is being done. Because all that this team does would cost a fortune. And it is something that we need to get to where we can do that, because the more we can fund it, the better off we can make it. So anytime we put out anything where we're saying we're reaching out for help to support and fund what we're doing, please jump in, because Amped Electric Games is a team of people who are just trying to show our love to the community. That's what we're doing. We do this because we love it, we love you, and we want to bring all these things to you, and that's what we're looking to do, right?
Ultimately, if we can, sorry to cut you off,
No,
Cobra,
go.
but I think it's important for people to know that the reason that we're trying to be the voice and we're trying to get this out there so that we can get obviously sponsorship for Amped, but also sponsorship for the riders, improved PEVs. You'll notice that in a lot of sports, when the competitive, events are introduced, is when we start getting better brakes, better safety, faster, better
Mm-hmm.
equipment. So these are all things that will come if we can really just, I hate to use the pun, but amplify what we're doing out there. Get sponsorships for the riders, so they're not having to, put the bill for their wheels and their travel and all of these kinds of things. So, just trying to lift up the whole community at once. And I think that through these events is really, the way that we best see that happening and supporting all of PEV, not just EUC, but eSkate, One Wheels. We host all types of events. So we're all PEV all the time. We feel that it's just a big brotherhood, sisterhood, and we enjoy being part of it.
Yeah, definitely. What one of the things that I really, I guess we all started in our various communities, and if you notice, I don't have a huge community here, but on online with my live streams and my interviews and stuff, I'm trying to cultivate a community here and around the world. And Seth is all over the place, flying all over, trying to do what he can to promote this. And Brett does the same thing, leading all kinds of things in his community. And you'll notice that if you look at most of the team members in on Amped, we're all in our own communities doing the same thing. And now we came together and we're doing that on a larger scale, trying to push the overall community throughout this our various communities and the world. We want to push this worldwide, and I love the fact that we're doing just that, because our energies come together and we mold like this, and it's like, I mean, one thing you can see is the love that Amped has. We share that love for each other and for the sport, and I'm just so proud of us, myself. And I want to give a big hug out to each and every Amped team member out there right now.
Let's shout them out real quick. Let's shout them
Yes.
out. I want to make sure that we shout out, obviously, Josh Farah, newest member of our
Josh.
A team. That's cousin Josh to you.
Cousin Josh.
Showtime, of course.
Showtime.
Christopher Brady. We've got
Yes.
Trevin Brandhorst, Wheelie Dope. We've got Cody Williams. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. Everybody that comes out, Jules Ride comes out. He supports the events. There's a lot of riders that come out just to the events and they just show up. And it was like I remember Brett saying one time, "What can I do?" And that's really what helps. That's really what brings our productions to the next level, is getting the support, like the teardown at A.V.S. Could you believe how fast that went with everybody's help? It was crazy. It was like
Well, I
15
don't think
minutes and we had
I
it
don't think
all
they
torn
get
down.
it though. They gave us a few minutes to tear down at A.V.S. because if you stayed too long, you had to pay. He had to pay extra for how long we were there. Every minute we were there longer, we had to pay. And we were like, "What? Oh, hold on." We're like, "All right, we need a few minutes. It's dark." And we got to tear this down. And he said, "You think you'll be able to do it in then like 45 minutes or so?"
Like, yeah, it was an hour, and Nick looked at him and looked back and went, "Okay, I'll do the best I can. I'll do the best I can." And then suddenly everybody just showed up out of nowhere. A circus happened. Everything was put back in the appropriate trailer. We looked at everyone and someone said, "Do we look at the time?" And it was like 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
We were like, "Wow."
Yeah, we were
Mo was
kicking
like,
ass and taking names on that teardown.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we gotta take
I,
some names.
there's one other AMP team member I failed to mention, and that's my wife, E-Ride wife,
E-Ride
Amy.
White,
She's
baby.
Happen.
appreciative.
He
My
makes
son
so much
Ben
happen.
was my son Ben was out at AVS this trip too, so
Yes, he
it's
was.
really a family affair.
Yeah.
Nick and Liv are together partners, and we're just trying to keep the love in the house. And my wife learned how to ride EUC this year,
Yes,
and
yes.
she's really super excited about that. And I don't think she'll be racing anytime soon.
Not yet. Not yet.
I
No.
mean, just takes a little, confidence, work your
I
way
mean,
into it a little bit.
slow speed race, maybe.
Yeah.
The slow race,
She
yeah.
but she did a good job though. Like she's Amy is a wonderful um advocate for us because she wasn't a rider. She was
Yeah.
just in it to support Seth. And she was supporting Seth behind the scenes. And then, both, Amy and your son both jumped in and all of a sudden we're riding. I was like, wait, what? And now she's on the team and she's amazing. And I got to give Amy shouts out because I had some issues while we were down there, and even before Seth showed up, she was helping me talk through some things and helping me with some things. So big shouts out to Amy. I appreciate you, Amy, and all that you do because she was amazing. And Seth showed up, and Seth was coming from India, by the way, people. I'm sure you know that, but if you don't, that's where the cool hairdo comes from.
Let's tell them the whole story, Cobra.
By the way, they said in the comments that you got the Brad Pitt going on with the hairdo and the goatee. Tommy, EUC vibes that you got the Brad Pitt thing going on.
Totally new vibe.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, so I was supposed to come back on like Wednesday or Thursday. And for those of you that don't know, I've been over in India for the past like month with La Laxina, and we have parts in a movie, movie that's going to be coming up. It's a super high budget, like Top Gun 2, like it's a that kind of a level budget, like millions of dollar budget. A big part of the movie is going to be a race scene, the end of the movie, all down through India, down through like the metro station, and I have to actually go back in about a week. I'm going to jump over a couple cars and all kinds of stuff. So I was there, and I was like, I got to get on my flight. It's coming up, and they said, can you please just stay? And I was like, I gotta be at Apple Valley Speedway and setting up. So I said, all right. I wanted to make sure that, that they had backup because we were doing some stunts and stuff. So I stayed, moved my ticket, and so I had to call Amy, and I was like, hey, can you pick up the car in Vegas and load the trailer and bring all the stuff to A.V.S. and like this whole laundry list of stuff? And she was like, yeah, no problem. And I was like,
See, that's why she's the best. Like, it just comes out of nowhere. Yeah, no problem.
She just jumped
Well,
in,
not out of
and
nowhere, really.
that's what it just made me so proud of this entire team because I landed on like, was it like Saturday, the day before the broadcast, and I get out there or I landed on Friday night, get out there, or no, Saturday night, got out there Sunday morning. Everything is set up, the tents are up, the broadcasting. I was like, oh my God, you guys don't really need me.
We need you, Seth. We definitely need you.
They started qualifications, and this guy was still on a plane landing at LAX, like 2 hours out of.
So she hooked up with the drone pilot. Shout out to them, Blue Hornet FPV and Casualty FPV. They kind of coordinated. They got the Airbnbs because when we travel, we have to get a few Airbnbs. It's not typically just one. So they got the Airbnbs, got everybody situated, got everything set up, and I rolled onto the track, and we were getting ready to go live.
Yeah, happened quick.
Well, Amy's in here. So what's up, Amy? And she said I had help from cousin Josh. Yes, we know cousin Josh was doing it. He was putting in work, helping you out. We definitely appreciate it. It was a team effort for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And EUC Vibes, Tommy says it's awesome. Seth and Law are filming this movie. EUCs are going to be on the map when it comes out. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Billion people in India.
And how many have you taught? You've been teaching them to ride over there.
Yeah, so that was what was cool was that part of the show or part of the movie was that there's a group of kids and they're all cruising around on M10s.
Yeah.
And so there's like a bunch of kids. So we taught a bunch of kids how to ride M10s, and there's one kid who's on a master, and then the protagonist of the movie like snatches his wheel away from him and then like takes off on it, and the kid's like, old man. Oh, that by the way, the guy that that we're playing is like 79 years old or something. So he's like an old man. So this old man jumps on the EUC and takes off, and the kid's yelling at him and shaking his fist. And so we taught all those kids how to ride, and then a bunch of the stunt people wanted to learn how to ride, and the stunt coordinators, we taught them how to ride, and we've been playing around. I don't know if you guys follow my Facebook or Instagram, but we've been playing around with different like camera mounts and different ways that I can like follow with the camera. You know, and these cameras are insane, like $100,000 rigs. I'm like,
Oh my
I
God.
don't know if I could. They're like, oh, don't worry, it's rented. I'm like, okay.
Don't worry, it's a rental.
Still worried about it, but
That's
yeah,
great.
it's
That's
really cool. It's really wild. It's really wild to be really cool to be part of that.
Yeah, I'm still amazed. I really am. Devo says it's going to be a wheelie good movie. No doubt, no doubt. Liv wanted to make sure. She said, "Big shout out to Wheelie Brady as well. He's been one of our first, if not the first, to commit to all the events, and is always handling his business and our business rather. He really is. So yeah. Wheelie Brady, he's definitely an ace in everybody's corner. He's always there. So we got to give him big shouts again."
We also had Turbo come out too. Those guys both, they did a lot of the flag work around the track.
Yes.
Turbo, yeah. Cooler Joe was out there as well.
Cooler Joe. Turbo, always in the house.
It's getting so big.
Yeah. And we know that everybody can't make it to every event, because there's plenty more that we want to give shouts out to, because Chrissy also, you know, and there's just we have a really big team, a big family, and it's growing, and we appreciate all that everybody does, because we know it's a labor of love. Like, just because I tell you this is all love and we all come together, don't mean that it don't hurt. I'll tell you right now, it don't mean that it don't hurt. It's a lot of work, long hours, tired, exhausted, especially Nick and Chris. Because on the production end, even more so than what we're doing, like us three are in front of the camera and we're practicing, just so you know, we go over the details and facts, and we practice and try to make sure that we're on point with what we're doing the best that we can, because we usually only get the details right before the event, so we only can practice so much. But
it was tough with me being in India, because I was completely flip-flopped from your guys' schedule. Yeah. By 12 hours, like literally on the other side of the world. So it made it tough. It made logistics really tough.
Especially when you get like those people coming in kind of last second or changing details last second, then that race competition has to process all of that and then print out those papers, then get those papers to us. So there's just a lot that goes into these races that it's like, ooh, right before you go, it's like, oh, we haven't updated this. It's like, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's hard, and I know. Okay, let's address one of the things that came up, Seth. One of the things that was brought up to us, and they mentioned in the comments, and we you know, we read the comments, and we're trying to do our best to make things the best that we can. And they said, you know, it'd be nice if you had give us better information as to which race we're watching and all that kind of stuff. So one of the things that Seth did now is he did timestamps on the live stream. So if you're watching the live, you can jump into the live on Amped Electric Games on YouTube or ampedelectricgames.com, and you can go to it and see what's what. But at the times of some of the events, like Brett just said, we're getting this information moments before or during the event, and we're trying to say, okay,
they change it at the last second. They completely change which races were gonna come when.
Yeah, the women were gonna go first, and then wait, no, the trikes are up. Okay. Okay, so that's so and so out there. Oh no, it ain't, because they changed the race. Hold on. So
we're back on schedule. What's the next race? This one. No, it's not. That person's out there. They're in this race.
Yeah, a couple of the races we only knew what race it was because we recognized the person after they went by a couple times. So just know that we realize that, and we're trying to do our best to identify them. I had a stack of papers. They were starting to give me papers from day one, and then that kept changing and changing and changing. So we're trying to stay on top of it. So, bear with us when we do that, because we know when we watch it, we want the update information, and we know you want it. So we're working on trying to get that as fast as we possibly can so that you know what you're looking at and we can call it accurately. So we're working on it. So
yeah, how about those bib numbers, guys?
Yeah.
Those bibs would come in handy.
There was like a 2-inch sticker on the helmet.
Yeah.
Mind you, they're bigger stickers than we were used to seeing for the most part, but the bibs are substantially easier to pick out from afar.
How about both? Because we don't know who's who. Yeah. How about we do both? Because one time somebody went by and I was like, and that is, and he turned his head at the last second. And I was like, wait, what was the number?
And you look again, it's too far. You're like, oh, jeez.
Yeah. I think
there's times where I look back at you guys and I was like, you're like, what number was it? And I was like, I don't know. People on the live go, oh, that was so and so. Cool. The camera's got a great view.
Yeah, we really do the best that we can with the information that we have. I think what's really poignant is that we learn something new at each of these events, and how we can better integrate with the race organizers, and how we can have better communication with the riders. And I mean, if you think about it, guys, we've only been at this for 1 year, so this is
wild.
One year in. I saw some comment on the Eastgate Con format, and they were like, those guys didn't do a very good job announcing Eastgate Con or something, or they don't really know our sport. And I was thinking, like, that was like our first event that we ever even really broadcast together, with our whole setup and our whole crew and everything that we had. So I'm proud of every event that we do. I know that we learn something new at each event, and as long as we're learning and improving, and having takeaways and those meetings that we have afterwards where we all get together and like hash for 2.5, 3 hours about what went right, what went wrong, how we can do better in the future. As long as we're doing that, I think there's only one direction, that's up.
That's right. And we're going to keep climbing to get there. So stay tuned and hang on for that ride. That's for sure. I want to say shouts out to Nelson. Nelson's in here. He's someone else who does live streams as well. No limits to ride electric. What's up, Nelson? I meant to shout you out earlier. Good job, guys. Keep it up. I appreciate all you're doing as well to try and reach out to the community and bring people together on your live streams. I'm going to be on one of his live streams. I'm not sure which one yet. We're going to pick a date soon. So
I watch all of his live show.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Another positive guy. I love positivity. So Central California PEV riders. He said, man, don't mind the haters.
There'll always be haters. It means you're doing something all right,
Yeah. Yeah, organizer kept pointing us to the website. Oh yeah, so the organizer, he kept saying that, we're trying to put it up. We're trying to put it up. And he was. Mo Biggs was trying. I think once again, this was the largest PEV event he's done. We had 91 riders.
Yeah.
At the A.V.S. event this year, 91 riders on scooters, on trikes, on e-bikes, on e-skates, and on EUC. So you can't say that's not a lot of people to organize, because it is. And he was doing the best that he could, him and his daughter and his son-in-law. And I appreciate them, because they did keep coming over and reaching out. They did keep trying to extend. And they've already extended, for those of you who don't know, they've extended an invitation to us to come back for several events. We don't know how many we're going to make, but they want us to broadcast a lot more things with them. And we're going to make that happen. We just don't know how many. We don't know how many we can commit to, because we got a lot of things to do coming up. So,
I mean, almost all of us also have day jobs too. Like we said, like we're we're not being paid from doing this, and
or 2 day jobs.
Yeah, or 2. Yeah. So it takes a lot of dedication. Just personally, I save up all my vacation time. I use what I need for my family, and then the rest goes towards competitions in America. So here I am.
Yeah, and we appreciate it, man. We definitely do.
Worth it. Yeah.
So Big Boy Fast Boy Nick says you guys have great energy on screen together, and Brett has been a fantastic addition and ambassador for Eastgate. Yes, he has.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I agree more.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, looking back on the stream, you always kind of like, not second guess myself, but oh, I could have said that, or I stopped myself there, or I said that wrong, or I misspoke here. But it was nice to be able to give my perspective a little bit. But yeah, a wild experience overall. That's pretty much the best way to explain it.
It's crazy, man, when that light goes on and you're on, like everything else just stopped, and it stops, and you have like that one focus. You're just, it's like a Zen kind of a thing, almost, broadcasting.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, like I came from like a performing background too, and I did a lot of live performance and a lot of stuff with microphones. And then when I moved to where I'm from now, I became a tour guide with a mic, and I was always in front of people and whatnot. So it's nice to be able to utilize that here and put something to action.
That's right. And I mean, you being your first time, I was gonna ask, how was it? But you just answered.
Well, yeah, it kind of went the way I expected it to go, but I knew it was going to be some sort of organized chaos, as like most things are. And I've raced in a lot of races too, and I've seen it. And then maybe we'll get into it, maybe we won't. I broke a bone earlier this year, so I wasn't able to race at Amped, but I stepped on to the race coordination team, and then being on headset and hearing it all happening, I'm like, oh, good thing I had that. When it comes to being asked to be at A.V.S. in the racing ride this year, I was like, oh, I know how this operates now. And it's, you're making a lot of riders into broadcast employees of, I guess, volunteer sense. But it's incredible to see how we can have our opinion and input into something, that's working its way to be full-time broadcast professional, like level stuff. Like that's what we're all aiming for, right? So you find us on YouTube now. There maybe in the next 5-10 years there's a network at play.
That's right. Yeah. Tune in
Amped
to Electric Games or Amped Electric Network. That's right. You never know. We'll see what happens. I'm putting it out there. Amped Electric Network. I'm putting it out in the atmosphere. Let's hey. Apex Visual Solutions. What's up, Chris?
Yo, man, pushing the buttons. I give a lot of credit to that guy. When Nick says go, this guy's like, pow, pow. On it. He's got every camera in front of him, and it's incredible what he does.
Yeah, man, both of them.
Programming all those buttons, and he's got the Stream Deck, and it's attached to this, which does the trickle waterfall down to this. It's crazy. Nick, spent a lot of thankless nights working on that.
Oh, yeah, worth it.
Yeah, there's been a lot. Like honestly, there really has been a lot, and Liv said it a little earlier. Nick and Chris really don't sleep much, even more so than the rest of us, because production, for you guys that have done shows, that do something like this and put shows on, that production there's pre-production, there's show production during, and then there's after show production. So to be doing it more than one day, it's really a long, arduous process, and I give them so much credit. Because Nick, we call him the maestro because he really is doing all sorts of things. His hands in all kinds of pies and making sure everything is happening. But then he's also trying to take care of us as well. I know that, we're flying in from all over, and he's trying to make sure that we're going to at least get some decent sleep so that we can be good on camera, while he's, bouncing around, him and Chris behind the scenes, bing, 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 bing. And then they're up all late hours. So it's a lot going on. So I really do take my hat off to those guys, and I love it. I love because the team, everybody wants to jump in. It's not like, hey, go do that. It's like, hey, what else can I do? Everybody has that attitude. What else can I do? Yeah. And I love it. I truly do. So We got a lot of people in here. So you know what? I think this is a good time. I think right now is a good time. We're at 35 minutes. Everybody in the chat, hit the like button. Go ahead and hit that like button real quick for the like button. Hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. And then I want to give away something. So let's start with an AMP t-shirt. If you're out there and you're in the chat and you don't have a shirt yet, or you need another one, we're gonna ask a couple simple questions. And we'll start with our newest member. We'll start with Brett. First person who can type in the chat, where's Brett from? Where's
Amped Electric Games employees and
yes, if you're an Amped employee, it don't count. So don't put it in. Don't type. Don't even type.
I had to be careful about 5-10 minutes ago where I was like, when I moved to where I'm from now.
Senior E moments. Oh, wait, no, Shira Kit Kat. Wait.
That's Zach Dad Darnell. That's Mr. Darnell.
Hold on. Who's Shira Kit Kat?
That's Shira.
That's Shira,
right? Yeah. Shira, you can't. Okay, who's Senior E moment?
That's James Darnell.
Okay, so James Darnell. Wait, well,
we'll send one to both. We'll send one to both Shira and to James.
Yeah, I was gonna say Shira's. She's well, not really on the team, but on the team. Like
from Toronto,
Yeah, I'm like, it's not.
She was on the team this trip.
Yeah, she was with us this trip. And James Darnell, I'm glad. Okay, we'll definitely send one out. We'll definitely send one out to both of you. James Darnell, shouts out to you. We're gonna talk about you in a little bit, buddy. You did something that we appreciate and we utilized and we discussed. So we're gonna circle back to you. So Toronto, Canada, Toronto. Yes. More giveaways to follow.
None of this would be possible without the Racers, Cobra, and we have to give them a huge amount of thanks and applause for all the training that they do, the traveling, the buying the wheels, the fixing the wheels. I mean, we have a really dedicated group of people that ride these PEVs, whether it's E-Skate or EUC or One Wheel or whatever it is. And none of this would be possible without those riders. So I want to make sure that we're definitely heaping on as much praise as we can, because those guys and gals are amazing. And it's a pleasure to go out there and to see these displays of athleticism. And it blows my mind.
Yeah, so shouts out to all the guys and gals that are not just bringing yourself, but bringing your wheels. And like you said, like you're following to all the major events and making sure you're competing. Because, I mean, you're right, Seth. What would we announce if there were no riders?
Well, Cobra, that jersey's fitting pretty tight this week.
Well, Seth, looks like that dust ball is in the lead. He's
I was gonna say it's not easy for these racers to go out there too. From my perspective, like I've been racing and I was at Amped last year racing and getting second in the Thunderdome. And it's, being able to travel and pay for all that. It's almost as much as like putting on a broadcast to be able to get the trailer and the speakers and the cords and everything there. It's, it's quite the effort. So good point. Bring out the racers, takes a lot of effort. So good on them.
It's a lot. It really is a lot. So we appreciate, hats off. And I truly do know there are several people like when I think about racers, I think about Turbo and Wheelie Brady, because these guys are both, and it's not just them, but I think about them because they're like all over the place, and they're always making to all these events, but they're racing and they're working, they're helping out behind the scenes, running around when we need running around done, and they're always there. So I appreciate you guys, and I know, listen, we shout out everybody that we can think of, but there are more. And as we go through, we'll continue to bring up names. And I know people are like, you guys, this is just a love fest. Yes, it is.
We gotta have gratitude. I think, when you mention some of those riders, I think also about the teams that we're seeing that are coming up. We've got the Night Riders team, the Alien Rides team, the A.V.S team, and those all have corporate sponsor. I don't know if we're going corporate, but they have sponsorship behind them. And,
Yeah.
it takes a lot for those companies to invest in these riders. I mean, this is really an unknown sport. We're all just trying to make something happen out of it. So, big hats off to, EUC Underground and Alien Rides and Rev Rides and
Yes.
Yeah,
all of the
2023 is definitely an interesting year because you're finding retailers are footing the bill for a lot of these race teams. And when you look at a lot of other sports, it's not always just retailers that are footing the bill. And, selling UCs and whatnot is not an easy thing to do. And it's burning a hole in their pocket in a sense to be supporting all of this racing and all these teams, but they're doing it. And they're all doing it. And all the names that we know for all these teams are retailers. So shout out to all of them you just mentioned because they're really putting in the hard work right now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So Nick asked, he said, how about the three hosts? What were some of your favorite moments from Race and Ride? All right. I'll give you one of my favorite moments, and then you guys can do the same. One of my favorite moments was Show being able to win with his father there. And his father's reaction and Show's reaction and Show breaking down at one point when they went up to see Liv in the crow's nest and he saw his father and he's like, oh, and he like collapsed in his father's arms. And that to me was an emotional moment because you don't see that everywhere. And it just showed me how much this means to everybody, how much it means to not just Show, but it means to his father. It meant to people because last year he said last year I was just watching, I was at home watching, and this year I'm here and get to watch him. Actually I remember from Amped, and when he fell and they let us know, well, his parents are at home watching, and I'm like, man, and now to see his father there and embrace him, it was just magical to me. I just was like blown away.
Yeah, it's
How
a big
about you?
moment. Not everyone has, gets the opportunity to have their parents there. And especially someone on a level as Show, who was brought in the first Amped as an instructor for being a fast racer and a track racer. And here he is winning an event in a year where the year before there was controversy and him crashing right before the finish, and then having his parents right there to witness the win.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, it was like, oh, wow, nice.
How about you, Seth? What was one of your standout moments?
Oh man. So I maybe I cheated a little bit because I've been editing all the videos and going back through all the footage, and there is one clip that I keep rewatching and rewatching, and that is that pass on the last turn of the Sportsman's Main with Antonio Vargas and James Darnell, where Antonio came in on the inside, and then James just pulled it back out, and that was just like, it was like, because they were like neck and neck the whole race. They were, Antonio was just on his heels. He was just waiting for James to make a mistake, and you could see James around every corner just holding on to the front of the wheel, steadying it into those corners, and I was just. That for me was one of the big highlights of A.V.S.
The way that Antonio Vargas just dove in there with so much confidence, knowing that Darnell was going to come in quick and try to take that corner right on the inside. He dove in here and was like, whoops, I'm just here right now. Just went to his other side. And like, if you've seen a slow motion of this pass, oh, that probably was going to be one of mine.
Yeah. Well, now that you mention it, what is yours? Now you got to give one of yours.
It was, I don't know. My thing is like I can't pick favorites, and
just one of. That's
why I love all PEVs. But that's also why this event was kind of cool because I have like a deep rooted passion and love for e-skates. So to see that e-skate pro final take off, I literally didn't know what to say. I was like, Mario Chacon, just, and then Seth would come and save me and be like, yes, he's going fast. That moment where they just took off and they went for that first corner, I was like, this is why I love e-skates. This is why I like PEV racing. It's the things that you don't think are possible, and then suddenly you see like 6 Stooge race boards just go take off.
Yeah, they were like rocket ships.
I'll have to say, Seth and I are not Eastgate riders, and we weren't big into it. We were learning on the fly when we did Eastgate Con, and having you here, Brett, and having more knowledge of the Eastgate has been very enlightening for us and a breath of fresh air for us. It alleviates us having to try. I mean, we were learning anyway. We're still learning, but having somebody that but rides them. So we're like, all right, Eastgate, something comes up. Over to you, Brett.
Yeah. I'm sitting there just like foaming at the mouth, like ready to go.
Yeah. But seeing the Eastgates, I never really had the type of admiration for them as I do now. Before I was like, well, they're cool, but they're not an EUC, and it's only because I didn't really ride that in that way, and I haven't felt the connection to them like I have with EUC. And having you have that connection, and I'm starting to feel it more as we announce more of these Eastgate events, and seeing Mario and seeing him at all the events flying around, and his skill is crazy. And
we
Rux,
can go on with names, Morgan Brady, Rux,
oh my God, it's just so good to see them and to see how much they put into it.
Redbeard,
Rux put up he was on Mario that entire time. He was just waiting for Mario, the Eastgate Pro. He was just waiting for Mario to slip up, and those guys raced together quite a bit. Intro to Speed, and Jack Farrer came in second on that one. So Mario, Jack, and Rux. But Rux has that style that he just gets down there so close to the board, and he's got that sleek helmet and the leathers and everything. And those guys are badasses. I don't care what you say. I'm telling you, I don't think I have the guts to try one of those bad Larrys.
Hey, I might write it up over there and back, but to take it on the track, I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
There is a next level to it though, for sure, because like these guys, like especially Rux, he comes from like a downhill background. He's used to going those crazy speeds and hitting those turns and being able to slide his board out. I don't come from a background of that, and a lot of these people who want to race Eastgate, a majority of them don't necessarily come from that background. So he especially has this really cool scenario where he's always like, if he's racing with Mario, sometimes he beats them, but a lot of the time he's in the shadow of Mario, but literally in the shadow. He is not far behind. He's someone like you got to look out for to be like a major contender when it comes to Eastgate racing.
And you guys will see we did an interview with these guys behind the scenes, and we were able to use some of it in the broadcast. We weren't able to use all of it, but you will get to see the behind the scenes, because those interviews were went really well. And Rux is one of them, and Mario, talking to all these guys was just amazing. And it really is just something to see. And I know that at one point Nick did a little magic and he brought the mic online while we were broadcasting so that you could hear the skateboards going by, and I tell you, those Eastgates going by sound amazing. Those stooge boards was like, and the sound was just, I can't even, like, you feel it. I can still hear it now. Like I'm there. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's literally taking that electric energy from the motor and just putting it straight through metal. A lot of the time, like with a lot of the boards you see in the budget boards and the easier to get long boards, they have like a belt system with like a Kevlar, like almost like a fabric type belt. And it dumbs a lot of that sound down. And there's some plastic parts in there. These Stooge race boards are straight motor gear right on the wheel gear. And it's gear drive. And it's like just metal on metal. So when they go, you just hear the motors going through the metal. And it's metal on metal that tingles in the gears. So then you get that ting ding 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 ding.
Yeah. I never liked it before. I was never a fan, but being next to the track as they keep going by, I'm like, okay. It kind of grew on me. I was like, okay, I kind of like that sound now. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Seeing them in the pit and like starting up, and you're like, oh, that's loud. Geez. And then you see them race by, and you're like, okay, that's kind of cool though.
Yeah, they are badass. They are badass for sure.
For real, definitely. And I mean, I give them credit because it takes a lot We talked about it on the stream. They do a lot of events, around different parts of the country, and they help each other to get better. And it's I wish we had that going on here. And I think was it Mario who started those events?
Intro to Speed.
Intro to Speed.
Mario, Redbeard, and
Yeah.
Rex, I believe, were the
I think those were the three that started them, and then they took off. Because at first I saw it and I was like, well, Intro to Speed, I don't know if I want to do that because I don't want people thinking, trying to kill themselves, going breakneck speeds. But honestly, it's the having speed in the turns takes practice. It literally takes practice. You can't do it without practice. And these Intro to Speed events have really taken off and given people the ability. And I know they've gotten better because of these events, because you see the guys doing all those events are getting better and better and better. They're always in the top 3,
Yeah, they call it Intro to Speed, but it's really, just race track tactics. Yeah. Breaking into the corner as well, I suppose. I mean, just improving skills, intro to skills or improving your skills. So don't let that prohibit you from going out to these events, because all racers from all different skill levels can attend. It's not just, and you don't have to be a racer. You're going out there to learn these skills to help you be a safer rider. Maybe you need to get around a dog or a cat or a kid or something someday, and some of these skills can definitely help you. So I would encourage everybody, if there's an Intro to Speed that's near you, definitely go out and attend. EUC, E-Skate, I'm sure that One Wheels can go out there too, pretty much anybody. So definitely hit one up if you can.
So Jeffrey Peralta's in here. What's up, Jeff? He's another great rider who's doing big things. He rides both. And he said, yeah, dudes, it's always a high power E-Skate that have that crazy amazing sound that you can't get enough of. And it's true. That sound is it's something else. It does something to you once you really get it in your bones. And Big Boy Fast Boy, he says something that's important, Nick. I mean, Nick, like it's something that you don't think about till you get there. A.V.S. adds the challenge of turns due to the high winds every time. You don't realize how bad the winds or how they're going to affect you until you're out there racing in it. But those high winds on those crazy turns in that open area, because there's nothing to stop the wind, is like something you have to get used to. You really do.
Yeah, coming from like literally a different climate, going out to the desert and then waking up, looking at the forecast and, converting it to my Canadian units, 80 kilometer-hour winds, I was like, or at least gusts of 80 kilometers an hour. I was like, that's highway speeds for us. Well, kind of like, yeah. Like
crazy.
Well, you gotta hold on. Like you're going down a straight and it's hitting you at a 45. You better have pretty good hips. On an
the drones. The wind was causing the drones to run out of batteries like every freaking 2 minutes. It was, not only was that, but it was blowing them around a lot. And so we had a bit of trouble with the drones out there. I think that we still ended up getting some good, really decent drone footage. It's all going to be coming out with these edits that we're doing. So stay tuned to the AMP channel for sure. Like and subscribe, because what we did with repackaging these races is included a little bit about the riders, included all of our commentary obviously, but all those multiple camera angles too. So not only do we have that drone, we had Liv on the long lens, we had several track cameras set up, so it's really they're really coming out good. I've been working on them for like a week now, but they're getting ready to be released, and the drone footage in it is good. But when the drone had to go back for the battery, we had to switch to some of the other cameras. So it was just tough. It was a tough environment out there. You guys remember we had papers blowing all over in the dust. There was a big dust cloud coming at us for a while, and
it was cold and windy. People didn't realize it, but we put sweatshirts under these jerseys. We were like freezing sitting there. And Liv said, I almost got taken off the crow's nest in that wind. She said her parka was like a sail.
Mary Poppins to the next town over.
Mary Poppins.
Yeah, and James said something in the chat. He mentioned there was some oil on the track too. We heard that from several riders. that the track wasn't an optimal, because it's a drift track. It's a car drift track. So there's cars out there, all week long, and then we head out there to ride our PEVs. So
and not just that, but when it got cold, remember at night when the finals, the track got dangerous because it got slippery. When the colder it got, the darker it got, the track got more slippery, and the cold started causing people to start dipping. And I was like, whoo, several people almost lost it. And I was like, man.
I think we should definitely dip into this when it comes to the EUC Pro heat when we talk about that whole thing. But I'll save it for that. But the sun coming down and the cold, like having the direct sunlight off the track and the cold setting in had different effects. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that happened to me while I was out there, for those of you who don't know, I mean, if you follow my post, you've seen that the day after A.V.S, I stayed and I went with Marty and Roger and Don and quite a few people that came with us from the East Coast, and we went on a ride on Mount Baldy. And let me tell you, windy, boy. But I see how Roger and Don are pushing themselves, because if you can ride Mount Baldy at top speeds in the wind that hits you from across the mountain, those curves that you're hitting it's like being at a intro to speed event. And now I see, they were telling me, they said, now you see why we're pretty good at racing, how we push ourselves. That ride was amazing, breathtaking, life-changing. And if you can get out there to ride Mount Baldy, I really highly suggest it. I was like, man, I was feeling it. And a couple times we came around a corner, I hit an opening, the wind blew. I was like, oh shit. Like, felt my butt pucker. I was like, oh.
Cobra's over here just like stacking the FOMO up on me. No, it sounds like a great time. Phenomenal. Yeah.
It was, but the skill building is crazy on that mountain.
I never heard that part of it though. That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's something. I see why Marty's always posting on that damn mountain, because it's something that you would want to ride every week constantly. Yeah. It's that good. So
definitely bucket list. Yeah. Definitely bucket list ride.
Yeah. I legit am glad that I checked that off. And every time we go out there, I think we should I know that when we're done and we wrap, it's everybody jumping on planes to get out of there, but I think we should build it in when we go out there, because it's that good.
Cobra, Liv said in chat, heard you almost went off a cliff.
I did. Okay, Liv. I was gonna leave that part out. Thank you, Liv. I'm not gonna lie. I was riding the Commander Pro that it belongs to Roger, and I was coming around, and because those curves, when I say skill building, I'm not lying. It was real. And as I'm slowing down on a curve with the wind, and I'm going to high speeds, and I hit a wobble. And that wobble started out slow. Then I passed Seth on the wobble he had on the Commander Mini. You remember how that was on you, Seth? It was that kind of wobble. And I was trying to slow down, and because you're coming around blind turns, you can't, like, you don't want to veer off to the other lane, but the wobble got mean. It was like, oh shoot. And then instantly I was like, either speed up or carve out of it. So I tried both. I sped up a little, I carved, and when I carved one way, I was like, oh shoot, I carved the other way, and I hit the dirt, dragged my pedal and my camera in the dirt, and turned back as the cliff was right there.
Oh, man.
I dragged my pedal, dragged the camera, turned, I was like, and like I felt every fiber of my being was like alive. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. And there was one guy, oh my God, and I can't think of his name right now, with the wild hair from Jersey. And he was like, oh shit, Larry, oh my God, I saw that. Oh my God. I almost died, truly. Oh man.
What song was going through your head?
No song. Only thing that was going through my head was, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Because I saw the edge of that mountain, and I was like, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, because I felt even if I slide off, I'm gonna catch myself. But I'm like, Roger's gonna kill me. His wheel is gone.
Sounds like Stairway to Heaven, Cobra.
It was legit crazy, and and that was because I had so much air in the tire. Also, I kept saying, "Hey, I'm gonna let air out. Hey, I'm gonna let air out," and I didn't. Yeah. Oh no, it wasn't just the wheel. It was definitely me and the wheel combined. that death wobble. Woo. Oh, my heart is pounding fast now just thinking about it.
See that footage.
Oh, I don't even know if I got footage because I dragged the camera all in the dirt.
Wheelie Brady said he watched Marty almost do the same thing.
Oh, probably.
Right.
Probably.
Line him up.
Oh man, it was wild. It was definitely a wild ride. D was the damn. We almost lost Cobra. Yeah, he almost did. Oh, he said, yeah, Vibe said, gotta ride with rock climbing gear in Cali.
Just in case.
Imagine strapping the wheel to your back, trying to climb your way out.
I gotta ask you guys, because it was the first time I had ever seen that. Sorry to change subject. Get back on topic here.
Go for it.
The relay race.
Relay
race. It was the first time that they'd done that at A.V.S. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I got to ask him before it started. I said, how do you feel about this? He goes, I'm excited. It should be good. Then I asked him after it happened. I was like, I was pretty good. What did you think? And he goes, I was impressed. It was nice. It was awesome. We had a good conversation about it. But I think it was like his first time doing it. I don't think he was really apprehensive, but he was excited with the results. I could say maybe possibly he can verify for himself.
Yeah, there were Surons out there and e-skates and one wheel. What was the rule? You had to have like 3 different types of devices?
They said that there was 5 members to each team, and there had to be an e-skate, an EUC, scooter, or an e-bike, and then the rest could be whatever. But you had to have at least those 3 different ones. And so putting an e-bike, a scooter, and an EUC, and then e-skate, and then they threw another EUC usually on the team. That's how most of them were made up. And it was 5-member team. Each member had to do 3 laps. So, it was 15 laps. And I think we might be trying to add that to every event that we go to, because it was some of the best collaboration between the various PEVs that I've ever seen. Everybody was jumping in and cheering each other on, and a lot of times, even though we're all on PEVs, we separate because of the different PEVs we ride. This was something that brought us all together, and it didn't matter what you rode. You were on the same team cheering for each other, and I thought it was really good. Really good.
Yeah, it's something that we could do with our PEVs, right? Like, you're not thinking about putting a monster truck next to another car or motorcycle next to a dirt bike or something. Well, maybe. But it's a lot easier to put, 4, possibly 5 entirely different bike or devices when it comes to trikes, bikes, one wheels, even add them in there. These relays are something that's kind of fun, because you saw them trying to like figure it out, and they had this rope that they had to keep with the person on the track, trying to do the baton versus going straight through. And some people are transfer, some people are going straight through, who's in what place. And then it became like an event that lasted, I don't even know how long it lasted, but it was a lot longer than a lot of other races we watch. So it was.
And really... Roger EUC, who's one of the fastest around on EUC, and he said relay was the most fun I've ever had. That's from Roger in the chat. So that's why I'm telling you. And by the way, Roger's team won. Just to put that out there, Roger's team won.
Roger, was Maxwell Berger on your team? I know that he was one of the faster Suron riders, and I believe he's a night rider. I know that Roger rides with a night rider, so I was just wondering if Maxwell Berger was on the team, because I think that he came in first in the bike trike results. So I imagine whoever had him on their team, because those Surons were screaming.
Yeah.
Fast.
They just put
Remember?
the down.
Yeah.
Gone.
So and so were the trikes. Those trikes Devo was talking about was there trikes there? Yes. Those trikes, man, they were trying to get in that low position too, and those guys were moving. I was like, man, all these different PEVs, like I said, being able to see these different PEVs and see them put to the test and push to their limits, and then seeing them on a team with others was great. I loved it. I truly did.
Yeah, it was great watching the Surrounds trying to keep their front tire on the ground while they pinned it.
Yes.
It's quite amusing.
They started down there. Remember, they'd be doing a wheelie even all the way past us.
Yeah, and it's almost like he's on top of the bike, like pushing down, like come on.
Yeah, he's got to, because like I imagine if you lean back and gun it, you might do a backflip. I don't know.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's like
100%. Oh yeah.
So Roger said yes, Max was on his team.
There you go. That definitely helps. That guy was on fire.
Yeah,
should have came
great
off the
riders.
Extinguishers.
Yeah. I wrote. Speaking of that, I try all different PEVs when we go to these different events, and I got on that Nami scooter, the red one that I forgot what his name was, but one of the guys out there had a Nami scooter, and he's like, yeah, go ahead and try it. I'm hitting it. I'm like, I'm like, oh shit! The front wheel kept coming up off the ground. I was like, holy shit! I said, I knew these had some torque, but damn. Like I see why they lean forward on them when they're hitting it and gunning it, because it does come up. And that was a scooter.
We haven't talked about it yet, but there were no scooters racing at the Race and Ride this year, were there?
At Race and Ride?
There were no scooters.
I didn't see any scooters. No.
There was some like out in the area, but there was none on the track. It would have been really cool to see like a bunch of scooters come out in their stance and like.
Well, they had the trikes. They didn't race each other, but they did the trikes, bikes, and scooters together.
Yeah, but there was no scooters.
Yeah.
Well, they just had their event the 1 month before Rider Fest. There's a big scooter.
There were
event,
there was a couple there, but you're right.
Came out for that. So
cool to see those guys come.
Yeah. He made me want a Nami scooter now, but I don't know.
If your wife would want you to have that.
What'd you say?
I wonder if your wife would want you to have that.
No. She doesn't want me to have anything. No.
Those things go like 80 miles an hour, Cobra.
Yeehaw! You see me flying down the road with my legs flying behind the scooter as I'm holding onto the steering wheel. Yeah,
Superman Cobra out there.
It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Black Cobra.
That's what it feels like when you ride on them, because the inertia just pulls you off of the back of it.
Honestly, I'm trying to. I want to get a Tesla now because I love that torque feeling that feels like that, and that's what that scooter gave me. It's like that, and the K6, that K6, oh my god, the sit down scooter there, that thing is bananas too. It's like the tires, I'm burning rubber and I'm not trying, and it's
dual motor drive too, so it'll like shift on you if you burn out on the K6. It's like go sideways.
I want one of them, either a Nami scooter or a K6. I don't know. I didn't ask for it for Christmas, so Santa's not bringing it. Roger said we had the fastest e-skate, the fastest bike, and the fastest EUC on one team. Okay, so you stacked the deck, Roger. Now your win is not as impressive, Roger.
That Night Riders team is deep, man.
Night Riders.
I wonder who shout out to Dan Grammer and Liam Ung, EUC Underground.
EUC Underground. If you haven't dealt with Liam and the team over there and all his boys and the Night Riders, then you've been missing out, because those are some great guys. I really appreciate all the Night Riders. You guys have been very welcoming to me, and I really like hanging out with you guys, and I'd like to be able to go somewhere, go there a little more often and hang out, because it's a great group of people and a great group of riders, and just like our AMP family, they're a big family, and they do a good job helping each other. So shouts out to them.
Cobra, There was an event last year in early January called the M10 Games.
The
Sponsored by
M10
the Night Riders.
Games.
We actually did that at Rogers' shop there. We actually set that up at Rogers' shop, and that was a lot of fun. I'd love to do that again.
Yeah, we gotta do that again.
To do one in Toronto, and we held the N10 Games. And not to spoil anything, but there's possibly a group of us working on another small PEV games for the new year. So he's sparked up the action going on here, making it easy for people.
Now you can't call it the M10. We gotta go with something,
exactly, right?
the small wheel games or something.
I'm not revealing the name of my event. We're still planning.
I already know. It's called
the A2 Bowl. I want to ride the A2. That's not yours though, Seth. Not yours.
I was gonna say there's a few out there, the Marty wheel as well.
Yeah, not the ones that have been put through. Not those. Yeah.
You mean the one that jumped 20 feet into the river?
Yes, you certainly did. You certainly did. And as a matter of fact, while I'm thinking about that, one of the things I want to put out there. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Let's see. All right, so Amped Electric Games. You can go to YouTube and you can see Amped Electric Games here, and you can see the different events that we have up on the website. As a matter of fact, if I enlarge this, let's go bigger. Yeah, that's probably not a good idea because I can't see myself. So I just covered the whole screen. We don't want to do that.
Electric Unicycle said King Song basketball games.
Liv said Seth jumped twice into the river. Or it was
jumped
twice
right.
in the river. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
But if you guys go to Amped Electric Games on YouTube, you can see the live streams here. You can also see several of the events that have been throughout the year. And as Seth and the team are able to finish editing more videos, you'll see more videos up here. So please keep checking back there. You can go, like I said, on YouTube, Amped Electric Games, or ampedelectricgames.com to see all of those things there. You can also see E-Ride Life. You can see Seth's channel there, E-Rider A, of course, and you can see us on Instagram as well. And these are all places that we'll be posting links to these various videos and all the different things that are coming up. So be sure to check them out. Go follow and stay up with the guys. There's mine, my Instagram there. Because we want to keep connecting with the community. It's important for us to connect with you guys, because without you guys, we can't do what we do. So just jump on there, follow, and stay tuned. And I think it's time to give away something else. It is. Do you have more of those amped mugs that we had, Seth? I really like mine.
Yeah, I think I have an amped Eastgate Con mug we could give away.
Okay, so we're gonna give away an amped Eastgate Con mug now. So again, if you're on the team, or you're part of, or you're married or dating one of the Amp family, that doesn't count. So again, now I got a more difficult one. What city and state am I from? What city and state am I from? First one, let's see. Who can put it in the chat? What city and state is Black Cobra from? And I say it several times, but a lot of people are like, where? So let me see. So if you're from here, you don't count. If you are part of the team, it don't count. So Electric Unicycle, what's up? Nope, not DC. All right. Somebody's getting closer. Ruben!
Oh, Ruben White.
Ruben White. Ruben's been on a little tour of himself. He was bouncing around seeing different people. Ruben got the right answer. Springfield, Mass. Okay, he's from New York, so he's been up this way. So he knows, but he's not on the team. So, and he's not dating anyone on the team. So technically he wins. So we're going to shoot the mug out to you, Ruben. Ruben White is the winner of the Eastgate Con mug. It's a black mug with the colors on it. It's really nice. You guys, you'll like it.
I'm not kind of jelly though, not gonna lie, because I love coffee. If we saw how big my Timmy's cup was.
Tim Hortons.
I'm not a good representation of Canada.
Well, I hear I hear Tim Hortons is a big deal over there.
It is. It's good. It's good.
I think Seth is probably. I think, you know what I think, Seth. You need to make some connections with Monster.
Because there's so many energies that get drank by the team to keep you guys just fueled and going all the time.
Yes. I don't think there's many times I see Seth without a Monster in his hand.
Remember at Eastgate Con, I had a mug of Monster, and then somebody gave me like a 5-hour energy. I poured it in the mug of Monster and drank that.
That was a thing.
What's that?
Vibe said, "Does Tim Horton ride an EUC?"
No, he was a hockey player.
Oh, well, he rides the ice. We don't know if he rides a wheel, but he rides the ice. So let's see. No, I'm gonna save that for a little while later.
Should we go through some results, maybe leading up to up to the big last race? Want to go through some results?
Yes.
So I happen to have the Eastgate results in front of me, and if something jumps out, you guys remember something from one of these races, definitely jump in.
Yeah.
For the Eastgate novice, in third place was James Hodgson.
Second Hodgson.
Alex Garza and Geelong Tonfat.
Novice. Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah. Oh, we did.
I remember. I was listening to Brett pronounce it. I laughed because I remembered it from the year before, and I was like,
I had no idea what was going on. I even went up to him before. I was like, "Hey, man, so how's it going? This is how you say your name, right?" Yeah, because like I wanted to make sure I knew how to say his name, because I knew he was an Eastgate racer and an EUC racer, one of the 5 there at the race and ride this year. So I was like, okay, so how do you say your name? And then I saw him out there. I was like, okay, I know. I'm pretty sure he has a red stripe on his helmet or something. But it was great to see him actually come out on front. I was like, oh, I talked to you before. I know who you are.
And then in the next race, in the sportsman's race, I was like, and Geelong Tonfat. I was like, wait a second. So he actually opted to move up to sportsman. So he was a novice. He had first place. He got bumped up to the Eastgate Sportsman, and he took first in Sportsman, followed by Cole Azevedo and Steven Severe.
I think this is something that possibly could be brought up later too, but then maybe that was a bad qualification. He was actually misclassed by a ways, right? Like maybe he was Sportsman, got put in novice, won that, and then he was in his appropriate category. So qualifications, I think, have a lot to do with it. That has something to do maybe in the EUC novice as well.
Well, remember what we were talking about on the show. It was something that I hadn't seen done in an event live like that. Was they, if you won your class, you could give up your trophy and jump to the next class up. So even if you were misclassed, say you did crappy in your time trial and you got classed lower than you normally are, you could win that class and then jump up and race again for the next class up. So I really like the way they did that. It seemed like everybody jumped up, so I guess they loved it too.
Yeah,
and in the EUC they had that A and that B class, remember? Mm-hmm. And for the EUC for the B, the top 3 went up to A. So I think there was a little bit of confusion for us there, because we didn't even know this was happening until they put the papers in front of us. Yeah. But like I said, we did the best we could. For Eastgate Women's, there was Diana Couture, Mia LeBeau, and Melissa Hodgson.
Yeah, that was great to see. And Dina on Instagram, you could find her. She's been out before. That's a name that we know, and it was really cool to see her kind of pull out in front. And who was in second place again? I believe it was. Did you say Mia?
Was LeBeau, Mia.
Yeah, Mia, and I believe she's 14 years old.
Oh wow.
She's 14 years old, and she got second place in the Eastgate Women. She really pulled out, but she was showing some skill. Like she was riding around the lot with her board, like she had been riding that board for a long time. And I was like, okay, this is someone to watch. And she came in second, so that was cool to see.
Yeah, and with all of this, I do want to. I know you have some more results to give, but it just popped in my head again, and I just want to highlight it again. Mo did a great job, and Stooge race boards, and it just all together the whole thing and all that they were trying to do. I appreciate them reaching out to us and being so appreciative. They were like beside themselves talking about us afterwards because they were happy with the partnership that they felt we brought to this event, and we were happy with all that they were trying to do. They were hustling and trying to get us the information fast, and it was a partnership. We both were trying to do our best, and we do that when we go to events. We land, we hit the ground running, we try to collaborate with the race coordinators and try to make this, we try to, co-brand it and bring it together so that everybody sees the event, sees the coordinators, and sees Amped and sees all of the riders. And it's a big undertaking. We just want to make sure you guys understand that, and we want to give Mo Biggs a shout out because he really did a great job working with us. He was amenable to a lot of what we needed, and his daughter was too. So was his son-in-law. So shouts out to their whole team. They did a great job. So
yeah, and LA PEV rider A.V.S, who rides with Rex and Mario.
Yeah,
he was one of the race coordinators, and that's who we were interfacing with to get a lot of our rosters and things like that. So we definitely don't want to forget him. And I've spoken to Mo several times since the event and talked about what went well, what went wrong, and how we can improve it. So I've seen the Facebook groups, and there's some people that are happy with the event, some people that aren't happy. We're really just getting started, guys. So we really need your help. You can always help to make these events better. We love your feedback. Amped Electric Games just put up a feedback board so that we can get some feedback. I'll paste it down in the chat, or maybe Liv could paste it down in the chat. So we're looking for feedback, and we would like to be the voice of electric sports. We are the voice of electric sports, but we're also a sounding board for the community. We love to hear that feedback so that we can bring that back to the race organizers and make sure that we're improving these events each time. So as much as we might hate some of the criticism, it's really is what helps us grow. So definitely keep the comments coming, keep the feedback coming, but also keep in mind that we're all really trying to invent something new.
Yeah.
And, some of the riders were like, we should have been able to charge after the laps and this and that. And like, these are things that we need to take into consideration because this is something that they don't have to worry about in other types of racing.
Yeah. But like you said, he's very open to these comments, and I kind of twofold. You see them come in, you see how Amped responds, and then I've kind of seen it now from the inside how they take those and they actually put them into action, and they're taking all the kind of recommendations that you've said and making those changes to the things that they do. Even like the day of at Race and Ride, they said, this can be better, this can be changed, and we did a couple of those things. So these people take it in and they make changes. So good on you, Amped. That's how I like being part of the team.
Yeah, team effort for real, and it teamwork makes the dream work, and it's legit. So I appreciate everybody, that's for sure. Primo's in the house. He joined late. What's up, Primo? Good to see you, brother. He did the Worcester takeover. Good dude. Really like that dude. So I want to talk about a little controversy. And it's like we said, feedback is everything. And one of the things that happened was the red flag. And we know that a lot of people were upset with the way things went, but when we run it back and play back how it went, I remember Mo Biggs making the announcement that if there's a red flag, everybody has to stop, and then everybody will be put back in their position and we'll start again. Now, Nobody saw the red flags and were paying attention, so all the riders kept going. And it was tough because if that happens, technically they're supposed to be disqualified, right? If they put out a red flag and you don't stop, you're supposed to be disqualified.
Yeah,
And
so the I was following race rules, and race rules say, there's a difference between a yellow and a red flag. Correct me if I'm wrong. If a red flag gets thrown, it means that everyone has to stop in place, like stop rolling and everything. The main reason for that is if they have to bring an EMS out to the track, they have to ensure that everyone is not moving, and they can let that ambulance or whoever it is get to wherever they need to be as soon as possible. And looking back at the footage and a lot, even when they acknowledged the red flag, maybe there was a misunderstanding and they just kind of kept rolling. And that is kind of against.
It's definitely people misunderstood. Some didn't see it. Some didn't know what they had to do. But red flag means we have danger, safety issue, all stop. We're concerned. And we had multiple riders down. We had 3 people were off their wheel at one time, and all in the first lap. So like we're not even.
Too, the online people were saying, "What lap? First lap."
First lap.
Go to amp.youtube.
Yeah, they didn't even make the first lap, and 3 people off their wheel. Well, that's a stop everybody situation.
Well, I don't think that's what brought the stop, though. I think what brought the stop is that Mario Chacon went down in the back, and he wasn't really like getting up right away. We found out he was conscious, he wasn't unconscious, and he just had to get his breath back. But he fell down, and he wasn't really getting up. And then the other 2 went off closer to the camera, and that's a lot of what we saw. But
yeah.
Pretty sure
but
the
that's
red
what
flag,
I mean. Mario went down hard, but then they had others go down. And first they did a yellow flag, then others went down, then they did a red flag, and they're like, hey, this is too dangerous. Everybody stop. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, so what's supposed to happen is you stop where you are, and then they can restart you in your position. And one of the things I think people didn't get was start you in your position, not meaning your spot on the track where you were, but if you were in first, you're in the first position. If you were in second, you're in the second position. And then restart everybody after they clear the track, clear the hazards, get everybody attention and medical help. Then they restart in your position. People thought, well, they're supposed to start on the track where they are. Yeah, but no one stopped. First of all, even if they were going to do that, no one stopped. So how would we even put you where you're supposed to be?
Yeah,
So
I think this is a little bit twofold because a lot of people were saying whatever position you ended up getting when the red flag was thrown is the position you should go into. But the race rules that Mo was following was once you've completed 1 lap, that is the case. They haven't completed that first lap yet. So the rule states that you have to go back to your starting grid positions. And a lot of people were up in arms about that. But at the same time, like, look at how far Brian Dillard had on that lead going around after that red flag was thrown. He didn't see it at all. Was very focused. This man has just been in training all year trying to win this race and was absolutely heartbroken after the restart. So, it makes people kind of, what were the starting positions like in this? And it's like, well, you got to go back to the rules. You got to go back to what Mo has said and the things that came up. And a lot of people were kind of looking around when the red flag went up and kind of going, what now? What's going to happen?
What do we do?
We haven't really seen this before.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think that's where in the future, having having better comms with the race coordination team is something that we want to invest in. Unfortunately, it's like $15,000 for the system that we want that will grow with us. But we need to be able to relay that information better. That's one of the things that came out from this race was being able to explain that. I think would have diffused the situation quite a bit right there on the track, and there just wasn't a lot of good communication between the racers and the crowd and the people at home. So, and even us, we were like, oh, red flag, that stopped the race and restart. But apparently we were some of the only ones that knew what a red flag meant.
This is a great thing for suggestions, and it could even come down to a simple thing as a radio, like even if it comes down to that, it'd be a great thing. Now we know for sure when stuff happens like this, we're like, okay, anything could happen. we got to have direct feed to those people on that track to be like,
It's
what is
hectic
going
over
on?
there, though. The other
Yeah.
thing is, we want to make it as seamless as possible so that we're basically able to just kind of listen in to what's going on, as opposed to like them having to then communicate with us. Because here's the thing, guys, is that Amps Electric Games, as the broadcast partner, we don't want to play any part in any kind of um, swaying the race one way or the other, whether it's one of our drones getting down into the racers, or whether it's taking time away from the race coordinators to relay information to us, or whatever it is. We kind of just want to be that fly on the wall and with our finger on the pulse of what's going on. So I think that the most unobtrusive way that we can handle it, maybe we put one of our people into their team to relay that information or something like that. But these are the things that I think about and that kind of keep me up at night, is making sure that we are never the ones that are the determining factor in the results of a race. And somebody complained that our drones weren't flying close enough to the racers or something, and that's a couple folds, being as windy as it was, and also not wanting to interfere or impede any of those racers. Can you imagine if one of the drones got, which we saw at Oak City, and here's the thing, is it actually happened at Oak City, and a second place racer wasn't able to pass for first place, and that drone pilot caught fire. Now, luckily, it wasn't our drone pilot. It was provided by Oak City. But since that experience, and since that person was literally robbed of that placement, I've been very cautious about having our drones too close, because they don't have rear view mirrors, guys. They're looking out of their goggles forward. They don't know how close the racer is behind them. So if they're dipping down into the traffic, who knows what could happen?
Yeah,
We don't want to be.
That's a great call.
Somebody hit. Someone was hit by a drone this event.
A couple people were hit.
Show got bonked on the head.
Yeah.
Not by amp drones, by other drones.
Other drone pilots.
Somebody else. But I think that's a great point to make, and I'm happy you're doing that, Seth, because like it's almost like, being put in the limelight, or in the spotlight, when you feel that that drone's coming up behind you, especially when you're racing. You could hear it coming from a racing perspective. You definitely hear that drone. It's kind of like, oh, I'm on camera, I want to like be good, right? When it comes up behind you, it's kind of like thing, it's there. But when it becomes impeding, it's like, all right, get out of here. That was fun, that was cute, what we had was awesome, but now I'm trying to race. So I'm happy that I've never run into that issue, but it's always kind of like, the drone's there. You could hear it, you could feel it. And, the drone pilot obviously knows exactly where they're at. So it's nice to have a little bit of distance to let the racers do their thing, but still capture the moment.
Yeah, I haven't been racing, in any of our events, but at Amped, I do have a good time riding. And I remember riding down Thunderdome, and I heard the drone. I was like, "Uh-oh, it feels good." So it's definitely a good feeling to have the drone behind you. You're like, "I'm gonna get some good footage." But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. So,
let's announce the results of that race, because we've been talking about it so much.
Right. James Darnell says, ultimately the correct call. Unfortunate for Brian and Zach, who were likely to podium. Confusion at that, because we all thought it was because of the turn 13 incident.
Roger and Cato, I think, got tangled up.
Okay. Yeah. It wasn't. So we know what happened, and ultimately, like you said, it's good that it worked. It worked out the way it did, and everybody sees what happened now. So, like you were saying, Seth, the results.
So in that race, this was the UC Pro race. We had Mario Chacon, Brian Dillard, Turbo, Mikey Camizo, Cameron Bodwell, Zach Darnell, Cato Leon, Kevin Zavala, Roger Hajali, and Joe Scott. And if you didn't know, I just went in reverse order. Joe Scott came in first. We talked a little bit about that earlier. And Roger Hajali, Knight Rider Roger, came in second. And then Kevin Zavala, Show and Kevin both race for Alien Rides. And I am happy to announce that Joe Scott is the proud owner now of a Begode Master 50S, based on his win there. Roger Hajali, what did they give you, Roger? I think it was a T4. I'll have to double check. Roger, maybe you can put in the chat what it is. But Kevin Zavala actually got a Mini M10.
Oh, M10 Mini.
So,
So
yep,
let's talk
M10
about
Mini.
the not the controversy, because there was no controversy, but let's talk about that little pass that was done by Roger. Roger went off track and almost lost completely, like shook up, and then he worked his way back and he made a pass on the last turn, coming past Kevin Zavala and making his putting himself into that the second place spot, and he was trying to go for first. He told me, he said, if I had another lap, he said, we got to make these things 5 laps.
Yeah, but yeah, it was going into turn 13 where he passed. It was, I believe it was Zavala, right?
Yeah,
and
he
we
passed
just
Kev.
like went past him. We were all kind of just waiting for it, but knowing that was a hard opponent to get by, and he wanted his place as well. So it was really
Roger,
cool. 13 took it, went over 14, 15, around right to the end.
We expected Roger to be in the lead anyway, and when he was in like 4th, 5th place, we're like, what happened? And then they're like, oh, he went off the track. There
was one point where I was spotting for you guys, and they went past the start, they went down, and then I saw Roger went out front, and everyone I heard a little hubbub, and then I looked, and it was like Roger was taking the first position, and then they went around the corner, and Roger wasn't there. So I was like, Roger in first, and I looked back, Roger wasn't there. I was like, Roger's missing. And he disappeared out of nowhere, clawed back, and then came back into the light for 4th and 3rd, and then that turn right before the finish.
It was tough. But it was a great race. I was so excited. I jumped up and went running because I wanted to talk to Show and Roger.
And big for Show too. Yeah.
Say what?
It was really big for Show because of last year, and the whole thing we brought up as controversy this year between Douglas Marshall and him. And he fell off his wheel, and now he had the chance to win his first, So.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I completely forgot about that.
That's big win. This is his big win. Yeah, this is his comeback story.
You didn't forget about the U-Stride incident, though, did you?
Nope.
So Roger's retribution, after having his beautiful master destroyed last year.
Yeah.
A lot of redemption this year.
Redemption.
It
was redemption for us too.
Yeah.
Coming back to A.V.S. and actually having the right equipment to do a stream, Cobra.
Try
to do it with dental floss and
and duct tape.
Duct tape last year. A Mac computer and a couple webcams or something. So yeah, I felt really good. It was definitely retribution. Let's go through the rest of the EUC race results here real quick. Novice Albert Kua, first place.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
That's 2 cells, 1 pack, Vancouver,
2 cells,
Canada.
1 pack. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he won the
Geelong
competition. Yeah.
Geelong Tongtat for this is I've got the official race results, but it has Geelong in first and second, and then Chris Clark. So Albert, Geelong, and Chris Clark.
Does that mean Albert moved up?
No, they just doubled his name in the second place.
He was in the B race, and then him, Jesse Garnier, and Julian Beltran all moved up to the A. So that's how there were so many racers that they had to split them up into the lower qualifying times would be the novice B, and then the top three of the novice B went into the novice A. And so novice A winners Albert, Geelong, and Chris Clark.
Oh.
And then that.
Go ahead.
That sportsman's race is the one that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
James Darnell, Antonio Vargas, and Chance Hines. Chance coming back, battling back from like fifth place in that one to take third. But the big highlight on that one for me was just that battle that Antonio and James Darnell had the entire race.
Yeah, I'm so happy there was so much footage of that because it was such a good pass. Well, it wasn't even a full pass; it was like a pass and a pass back.
Yeah, yeah.
Really there was cool. There was a lot of There was a lot of stiff competition out there. There
And
really
and
was.
you shout out to Chance too, because he's not a guy you find on the track. He's always apprehensive. He goes, I don't really need to be here. He loves being off road. But shout out to him and the EVs team for really like coming out to the track here.
Yeah. Roger's also no, Roger's not EV's rider. He wears an EV's jersey, but I don't think he's an EV's rider. Oh, Roger, clear that up in the chat, man.
No, he is.
I want to make sure you call you right.
At the beginning of his video.
Yeah, he still puts EVs in the beginning of his video, so he's still with them.
EV's rider. So UC Women's, it was nice to see that out there.
Yes, that was a good one too. Race. Dawn, woo, she was pushing it. She was cutting, passing too. I was like, well, she might make it back up there too if she had 2 more laps. If it was 5 laps, her and Roger both might have taken it. I don't know.
To be convinced to race more because she's exciting to watch on the track, but she's always kind of slightly apprehensive about, do I really want to be on the
race
track? I'm like, come on, you need.
How about that? How about that Luna Wolf crash?
Yeah. Ooh.
That was. Did you guys see the aftermath of that one?
I didn't. I just saw the initial. I was like, ouch.
Yeah, she was hurting. She came back to finish the race too. She got back on her wheel, but I heard she was hurting.
Yeah, I bet she was. What were the results there in that women's race again, Seth?
Yeah, Roger confirms that EVs is his race team. Yeah. Results in that one was Maribel Vargas. Oh, let me just I want to make sure we give a shout out to everybody who raced in that. Luna Wolf, Shira, who's in the chat, Grace, Madeline, Serena Moucher, Amber Rose, Celeste Cuna, Don Champion, and Maribel Vargas.
Yes.
Maribel Vargas coming back from last year. You know, her
Maribel Vargas
dual, race
gold, 8th first place.
Yep. And she took first, followed by Dawn and Celeste Cuna, and Dawn and Maribel. That was a fight.
Yeah,
that's what we wanted too. I wanted that fight.
Whatever.
It was just like some of those, like the sportsman, like the double pass. You watched Dawn was about ready to do it to Maribel, and they were like neck and neck coming through there. That was exciting.
Yeah, I really loved watching that race. So of course I'm going to acknowledge it. Lives in the chat talking about you who. the person who shall not be named, and then she says, where's Wheezy?
He was at A.V.S.
He was there. He was just hanging out. You ain't right, Liv. You ain't right. So it was amazing. I really, and then we interviewed Dawn, and she's like, so you're an amazing racer. You must love to race. She's like, no, I don't really race. I was like, what?
She's trolling you.
Yeah. Well, she was saying she loves the vibe that you get into, the zone you get into when you're going fast. She's like, she's chasing that. She doesn't chase the racing as much. It's more the feeling she gets. And after riding Mount Baldy with her and Roger, I get it, because they were so fast on that mountain. And it was such a zone to be in. I wasn't as fast as them, but at one point I was doing like 45 going down the mountain, and I'm like cutting and carving. I said, this feels exhilarating. So I get what she means. I didn't at the time. I was like, come on, Don, you just race. You love to race. She's like, no, not really. I get you now, Don. I get you. Okay, it's time again. One more time. We got to give something away. And this time, Seth, we're going deep. We're going deep.
Oh.
Do you have one handy? You have one handy? So for this giveaway, we're going to go unique and special. Seth got something in that he wants to give away, and dun dun dun, the gel blaster. No, we don't have it. We don't have it.
XL.
It's not amped themed yet. We don't have it amped. It's not red and black with the white trimming yet, but maybe later coming to a shelf near you. But the gel blaster. So
shoot the camera.
Yeah, then we won't be able to see you.
No joke. Like Seth got sent a bunch of gel blasters. These things that like turn water,
into
like
gel, little tiny gel bullets, and then when you shoot each other, they splash into water.
Yeah,
they're pretty cool.
It has a automatic mode, it has burst mode, it has single fire mode.
There's people setting it up.
It's rechargeable, so you put your little cell phone charger in there.
There you go.
This
So
gets better.
once again, people, if you are on the amped team, oh, you hear that? Do that again, Seth. Do that again. So if you are on the amped team, or if you were in a relationship or married to someone on the amped team, you cannot win. So, but other than us on the team, if you can tell me, the first one to tell me where is Seth from? Tell me where Seth is from.
Good luck.
What? And what? Yeah, this is a tough one. What? Yeah, where's Seth from? And then we'll get you your Gel Blaster XL.
Can I just say I appreciate the fact that Seth wore safety glasses for that demonstration. I'm seeing it come through on the stream now, and I'm going, yeah, well done.
Okay. Oh wait, I'm missing it. Let's see. Okay, you got to be specific. What city is he from?
Oh wow. Vibes. Wow. Actually, technically, Vibes is right.
Whoa.
Oh really?
That's where I'm originally from.
Okay.
Whoa.
Well, where he's from now. All right, you went too deep.
We're gonna get Vibes. We'll get Vibes one, and then.
All right, Vibes. He said you're gonna get one for going deep on the original, where he's from originally. Go Vibes.
We'll give one to.
We'll do the extra mile. Let's be honest.
We'll give one to Journey. We'll give one to Journey too because he said Denver. So.
Okay.
Also,
Okay. So Journey said Denver. There we go. All right. Shouts out to the winners of the Gel Blaster XL.
UC Vibes was the first one to get the actual answer we were looking for as well. Lone Tree, Colorado.
Oh, yeah. He did. He came back with it. Okay.
He
all right.
did that one too. Yeah. So definitely deserves it.
So yeah, we got was it Vibes?
Shoot me a message, guys, on Instagram. Anybody who won anything, just shoot me a Instagram at eRideLife or Amps Electric Games. Okay. UC Vibes said thank you. The benefit of being Facebook friends. Wow, here I thought you knew me, man.
Well, we're all interconnected. We're all friends on Facebook. It's this community is
so Vibes was the fastest to scroll through his Facebook. Oh wait, hold on. Primo said, "Damn, I lost again."
Gotta be resourceful, man.
You gotta be quick on the draw, Primo. You gotta be quick on the draw, brother.
How quick can you Google?
Yo,
these things are actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to get mine. So hit your like button, y'all. Hit your like button. Go ahead, like it up. Let's go. Oh man. So in all the things that we did at this event, I was so proud of so many things. But I'm going to say it one more time. We had a dinner after the event. Mo Biggs and his entire Stooge Racing team and Amped Electric Games team, we all went out, at dinner. And once again, Seth brought Mo up and we had some conversation as to how big a deal it was for them to do what they did, to put this whole event together. And they once again were very appreciative of us and bringing this whole team, this big amped family together, because it's definitely not small, and making this happen. And it was a joy to be around everyone again. And I felt like the hug we normally give each other, we extended to the Stooge Racing team for the night, and they felt the love too. So I really enjoyed that. So it was amazing. It really was amazing for me. And anything else you want to highlight, Seth, in the time that we spent together for this event?
Oh boy, it was great. I am just so proud of the team, and of continue to harp on it, but it just blows me away, how much we've done in a year, and to think back, like it's only been a year, and we've gone. I mean, you look at our stream from A.V.S. last year and compare it to this year, and it's like night and day. Um, the fact that we took a bunch of people who, other than Nick, have zero production or television experience. Maybe Brett, you have a little bit as far as like performing, but we created a mobile broadcast news studio, sports news studio together, and it just blows my mind, and just what everybody's willing to do, and the volunteers that come out and help, and of course the racers and the race organizers. My heart is just so full of appreciation, because this was a dream of mine, just a few short years ago, and now it's becoming reality. And it just goes to show that you can accomplish anything you set your mind to if you're just dedicated, and every day, you set those goals and make strides every day to make that thing happen.
That's right.
And so thank you guys for being such awesome hosts.
Thank you, my friend. Seth is definitely kindred spirit, brother from another mother, and we've done great things together, and I appreciate you. So, Brett, being the new guy on the team, even though you've already been on the team before, but being the new guy to the broadcast part of the team, what would you like to highlight from your time at this event?
Well, I think like my main takeaway from this is that the race and ride specifically at A.V.S. has kind of become a special event, not only for e-skates, but also for EUCs and other PEV riders. And there was a lot of people who had, like we talked about the Hajali situation and the show situation and having these people with these redemption stories. But there's a lot of people out there who maybe didn't get a chance to be there this year, who truly, could have, really taken away some podium spots, and a couple people who ended up showing up as well. One, I'm thinking Reggie Thomas, e-skate rider. I was excited to see him on the track, part of Advanced Riders Division, and he never got to make it because something happened on the track and his board blew and he couldn't do it. So I shout out, we've shouted out a lot of people, but respect to those racers who are going through this struggle, and they're losing money doing this, just knowing this is something they're passionate about. And you really see that at A.V.S. So A.V.S. and the race and ride event specifically is something special. So don't take it to heart if you didn't make it this year or something like that. But every year is different, and this year especially was special and different. And we're going to talk about these stories, all the things we talked about throughout this crazy long live stream of now coming up to 2 hours. So we've talked about a lot of the things that happened, and every year is going to be special. And my takeaway from this is that the race and ride, it will continue to be special, I think.
Yeah, it definitely will. And honestly, I think this event was really special, but I honestly see the community as a whole trying to make every event special. And that's why I like AMP, because we try to give the same love and projection to every event that we attend. And we're going to continue to do that. So really, whatever events you can make it to, do your best to make it. But don't feel like, it's the end of the world if you don't, because we're going to continue to push these events in different places around the country, and we're going to try to make as many as we can to try and pull us together. So I'm glad we're able to bring light to these events, and I'm glad we're able to do it with such positivity and love for the sport and the community and each other. So I'm very happy with what we're doing. And I got a question in the chat, and Seth, the second time I'm seeing it, Vibes is asking again, do we have a date yet for Amped next year? My answer is stay tuned. What do you got for me, Seth? Unless you
probably see the dates from the last 2 years and make a guess.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
No, it was Labor Day weekend, both dates. I'm not sure. It's hard to say. There is some scheduling conflicts that we've had running into, so it's hard to say as far as what Amped is going to look like next year. I think this year we really we bit off a lot. We
Yeah.
tried to do a lot, maybe too much for the number of people that we had. So I think maybe we may contract a little bit next year, just as far as like how far we get spread out. It's tough to have like, guys, we had like 5 tracks. Like, it was insane. 3 different places. We're at the rail yard. We're at Kohler Mountain. We're at the Amped, at the fairgrounds. You know, we had the indoor skate track. We had the outdoor oval track. We had the indoor one-wheel track.
Cool. Yeah.
So it was a lot. It was a lot. But it just, yeah, I'd say stay tuned. We're definitely doing something. But first and foremost, I think that this next year, we're going to try to concentrate on bringing the events and games closer to people, as opposed to having everybody have to come out to Arkansas. So, you know, that's one of the biggest complaints that people have had, is that Arkansas is so far away. But if we could mobilize and get a road group together and potentially pick up a couple of sponsors, we'd love to come out and meet up with folks and you know, do some live streams and host some mini games.
Yes,
and really
definitely.
focusing on the community, I think, is really important. Focusing on getting new riders
Yeah.
into the fold, and you know, some of these things. So we have a lot of goals, we have a lot of aspirations. We're definitely going to be active. So we've definitely got stuff going on. It's just nothing is too set in stone quite yet, other than I won't even say it.
Don't
Okay.
let's just say it's a work in progress, and
Yeah.
again, like we said, it's a lot to bring these productions together. So especially Amped is the biggest undertaking of the year for us, and all other events are secondary as far as the amount of you know, energy and planning and everything that it takes. But it does take a lot. It's huge, and we want to keep making it better and better. And so far, it's been that way. You know, this year was bigger than last year, so we want to keep doing that. Just stay tuned, stay in there, and shouts out to EUC Vibes for the super chat. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And you guys definitely stay tuned, because we have more magic to come, and more love to give. So just stay on the ride with us, because this train is growing, and the train is going to be pulling in to a stop near you real soon. So just hang on. And yes, we're definitely going to make our way around, because we will be doing, you remember the first year Seth did a tour, and he went around to make sure that, you know, he saw a lot of people at different places. Been a little too busy in India this year to make that happen, but we will individually be going to different places when we can to do group rides. You know, in Phoenix, they're doing a lot over there. In Arizona, you know, Liv and Nick do a lot over there. And, you know, Brett's doing a lot in Canada. Seth's all over the place. And hopefully soon, once I get my retirement going, I will be visiting a lot more places, because I'm just so busy. I want to visit so many more places, and we will be doing that. So just stay tuned, stay with us. You know, don't let yourself miss out, because it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we are making it happen. So shouts out to everybody. Thank you, Seth, again, for all that you do, because Seth is definitely still the godfather of Amped. We look, truly, we all do this, but it was truly his dream. He brought it together. He made it happen. He extended his heart, and we all recognized something about ourselves in him, or him in ourselves, and we came together with him, and we all continue to extend our hearts to others, and it's just growing and growing and growing, and I'm in awe of this wonderful machine that we have called Amped, and I just look forward to all that we have to offer to the community, and all the community has to offer us. So that's all. I'm good. You guys got anything else you want to say? I think we can wrap it up now. Anything else you want to add, Seth?
Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you for supporting us. Devos out there, Live for EUCs out there. You guys are great. Big boy, fast boy, everybody. Thanks for coming to the chat. Thanks for bearing with us for 2 hours.
2 hours.
Loving it. That was good times.
Yeah. So, Brett, you got anything you want to add before we go?
No, I mean it's exciting. I think the main thing to think about these competitions is that a lot of them are still in their first year, and give them some grace and be happy to be there. And and it's great to have more of this positivity, if you know what I'm saying. So it's great to be a part of a team at this point where things are kind of coming to be. So I'm happy to be here on the live stream and chat with y'all about it too.
Yeah. We love y'all. We love y'all. Ride safe out there, everybody. Please ride safe. Wear your equipment. We're doing many more dangerous things nowadays than we ever did on our wonderful machines. So please try to be safe, because falling down is a part of it, and we want as least amount of injuries as we possibly can have, because we want everybody to continue to ride in as long as you want to ride. So stay safe and stay positive. You guys have a good night. Peace.